The illusion of chasing love. There's a quiet lie many men still believe, that love is earned by pursuit. That if you just try hard enough, stay kind enough, and show her you're different, she'll stay. But what if the very act of chasing is what makes her leave? Welcome to Soul of Life, where we don't give you surface-level advice. We dive deep into the psychology of power, attraction, and identity. Because becoming magnetic isn't about being louder. It's about becoming undeniable. Centuries ago, Machiavelli taught that power doesn't beg, it moves with intention. In a world drowning in noise and overexposure, what makes a man stand out is not how nice or fast or available he is. It's how rare he feels, how solid his presence is, how grounded he remains no matter who's watching. This isn't a game, it's a shift in mindset. Let's begin. Rule 1. Be the man she can't read and never feels she fully owns. Predictability kills desire. Not slowly, instantly. The moment she knows what you'll say, what you'll text, what you'll do next, something inside her turns off. Attraction doesn't grow in certainty. It grows in mystery, in space, in that slight tension between what's said and what's left unsaid. Most men overshare, overtalk, overtext, thinking it shows care. But it only shows need. Here's the truth. If she feels like she fully owns your emotional world, she won't chase it. Because she already has it. A powerful man doesn't explain his every move. He doesn't fill every silence. He lets silence work for him. Because in silence, she wonders. Real example, you're on a date. She teases. You probably say that to every girl. Don't defend. Don't explain. Just smile and say, "You'll figure me out." That one sentence, more powerful than 10 compliments, because it leaves a question mark in her mind. You're not being distant. You're being centered. You don't play hard to get. You are hard to forget. Rule 2. Online, less is magnetic. In the real world, presence speaks, but online, absence echoes louder. Most men drown in digital noise, posting daily updates, chasing likes, commenting on every story like it's a lifeline. They think visibility equals value. But in reality, overexposure equals irrelevance. When you're everywhere, you become invisible. When you try too hard, you become forgettable. A powerful man, he doesn't scream for attention. He lets the silence do it for him. One post, well-timed, well-crafted. It says more than 100 stories ever could. It makes her stop scrolling. It makes her wonder, where has he been? What's he up to? And that question is gold. Your online presence should feel like a hidden door, not a loud parade. Don't post to fill space. Post to reflect purpose. Are you building something? Show glimpses, never full access. Are you growing? Let that speak through action, not oversharing. Are you struggling? Keep that sacred. Heal in private. Desperation is not attractive, intention is. Ask yourself before every upload, would a man on a mission need to post this? Or is this just noise? Machiavelli understood, scarcity increases value. So if you want her attention, don't give yours away. Make her feel like seeing you online is a privilege, not a pattern. Be rare, be deliberate, be magnetic. Rule 3. Never explain yourself into obscurity. Here's the trap most men fall into. They think if they just explain themselves clearly enough, she'll understand, she'll stay, she'll respect them. But the truth is brutal. Explaining too much destroys attraction. When you justify every move, apologize for every word, try to prove you're not like the others, you shift the power dynamic. You become the student. She becomes the judge, and nothing kills desire faster than a man begging for approval. Machiavelli wouldn't explain himself. He'd let his presence speak. So should you. You said something bold, and she raised an eyebrow? Don't backpedal. Just smirk and say, "You'll get used to me." She asks, "Why didn't you text back?" You say, I don't rush what matters. That's not arrogance. That's ownership. The moment you stop trying to be understood, you become intriguing. Because mystery doesn't come from games. It comes from emotional composure. You don't owe an explanation for every silence. You don't need to defend your rhythm. A confident man is okay being misunderstood because he knows who he is. And guess what? That calm, grounded presence, that's what women chase. So next time you feel the urge to over-explain, don't. Say less. Mean more. Let your energy speak louder than your words. Lay feel. Give your emotions only to those who've earned them. There's a myth that keeps men stuck. That to be loving means to be always open, always available, always emotionally exposed. But here's the truth. When your emotions are on a leash she holds, she stops respecting you. Every time she pulls back and you chase harder, every time her cold mood ruins your whole day, you hand her the reins to your emotional world. And the worst part? She didn't even ask for them. You gave them away, hoping she'd treat them gently. But no one cherishes what was handed over too soon. Machiavelli would call this a fatal error. He would tell you, emotion is power, and power must be held with control. This doesn't mean you should be cold. It means you should be measured. You can care, you can feel deeply, but not everyone gets access to that part of you. Think of it this way. A bank doesn't give its vault key to strangers. Why would you? So here's the shift. Compliment her, but only when her actions earn it. Be warm, but only if she's warm too. Offer softness, but only once trust is built. This isn't about being guarded. It's about being wise. Real example. She flakes last minute. Don't guilt trip. Don't beg for a reschedule. Say, no worries. Let me know when it works. Then shift your focus. That's not punishment. That's self-respect. You're not withdrawing to play a game. You're stepping back to protect your energy. Women sense this. They feel the shift. And suddenly, you're not the guy clinging for attention. You're the one she wants access to. Because what's rare, what's emotionally composed, what's selective, that's what creates gravity. That's what makes her chase. Rule 5. Build a life she feels lucky to be invited into. Most men chase women because they're not chasing anything else. They're not building. They're not focused. They're not growing. So the moment a woman shows a little interest, she becomes their mission. She becomes the goal, the reward, the entire emotional world. But Machiavelli would have laughed at that. He knew a man who has nothing to protect gives everything away. And that's exactly what happens when your life is empty. You overgive. You overtext. You overinvest. Not because she's earned it, but because you have nothing else filling your time. Here's the truth. You don't become attractive by trying harder. You become attractive by becoming someone worth knowing. Start building. Build your body. Build your discipline. Build your business, your skills, your internal world. When your life is full, you don't have to fake confidence. You walk differently. You speak with purpose. You no longer reach for attention because your focus is already spoken for. And she feels that. Women are drawn to movement, to momentum, to purpose. When she sees that you're not waiting around for her reply because you're too busy building your future, she pays attention. Not because you're being distant, but because you're already chosen by your mission. Let her join your world, but never let her become the reason for it. Because the strongest form of attraction is when a man's presence says, I don't need you, but I choose you. And that's irresistible. Practical shifts. How to apply this in real life. This isn't theory. It's not philosophy for the bookshelf. It's a new way of moving, moment by moment, interaction by interaction. Let's bring this down to earth. In real life, she tests you. You probably say that to every girl. Most men panic. They laugh nervously. Try to convince her they're different. Wrong move. You don't defend, you don't explain, you just smile and say, "You don't know me yet." Short, calm, certain. Because a man who knows who he is doesn't rush to prove it. Online, she leaves you on scene. Your ego screams, "Send another message, don't let her slip." But your energy says otherwise, so you stay silent. You post something meaningful instead. A snapshot of progress, a glimpse of your mission, a moment of stillness. You don't perform for her attention. You remind her that you're building something worth noticing. Your silence now carries more weight than your words ever did. In a situationship, you're doing too much. You text first, plan the dates, carry the emotional load, and she gives just enough to keep you hopeful. That's your signal. Not to argue, not to demand more, but to step back, not to punish her, but to realign with your standards. When you pull your energy back, not in anger, but in awareness, the dynamic changes. She either rises to meet you or fades out. Either way, you win clarity. At the gym, at work, in public, don't try to impress. Don't over-engage. You're not there to entertain. You're there to move with purpose. Stillness catches attention. Composure creates questions. While others laugh too loud and try too hard, you remain grounded. You listen more than you speak. You focus on your craft. And that presence, it speaks louder than any performance. These shifts are simple, but not easy, because they require one thing: discipline. Discipline to pause instead of react, to walk away when energy isn't mutual, to build when no one's watching. But once you master that, you no longer chase connection. You create gravity. And the right people, they feel it, they move toward it, because you're no longer just another guy. You're a man in motion, a man with a code, and that makes all the difference. The final shift from need to gravity. This is where everything changes. The moment you stop asking, "How do I get her to like me?" and start asking, "How do I become a man she can't ignore, even in silence?" Most men never reach this level. They live in a loop of need. Need for attention, need for validation, need for constant reassurance. But here's the truth. Power isn't loud, it's felt. When you choose yourself first, not out of pride, but out of purpose, you stop chasing and start pulling. Not with tricks, not with over-effort, but with stillness, with certainty, with quiet strength. You don't need to flood her phone. You don't need to prove your worth. You become worth noticing. And then, something strange happens. She starts thinking about you when you're not around. Not because you demanded her attention, but because your absence speaks louder than other men's presence. You become a presence she can feel, even in your silence. No big moves. No chasing. Just quiet gravity. That's what real attraction is. So let them chase noise. You move like the man who already knows who he is. And in that stillness, you create pull. Not because you tried harder, but because you finally stopped trying at all. Closing words. Choose yourself first. If this message stirred something inside you, don't rush past it. Don't let it fade like just another video. Sit with it. Think about how many times you abandoned yourself just to be chosen by someone else. How many moments you overreached just to keep her interested. How often you explained just to be understood. That ends today, because the man you're becoming, he doesn't explain, he doesn't chase, he doesn't fold at the first sign of disinterest. He chooses himself, fully, quietly, relentlessly. Start with the small shifts. A pause before replying, a walk instead of waiting, a deep breath instead of begging for clarity. This path won't make you colder. It'll make you clearer, sharper, more grounded. You'll stop bending for people who barely know your worth. And you'll start building a life where the right ones naturally belong. Because the man who builds, he doesn't beg to be seen. His presence speaks for itself. And when you walk like that, she doesn't just notice, she remembers. So if this message feels like yours, claim it. Leave a comment. Share it with someone who's ready to rise. And above all, Keep choosing yourself. Not once, every day. This is soul of life, and we're not here to play the game. We're here to rewrite it. With men who are done chasing and ready to lead.